Oh, pretzels. I can't believe I missed a raid. I'm so sorry. I was making my tea. Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. How are y'all doing? Lovely to see you. Thank you so much for the raid, Holly. How are you doing? Welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. Let me get a shout out for you in the chat. What are you up to today? How was your stream? If anyone is still here, it's lovely to see you. Welcome on in. I'll get the camera on in just a second. But first, let me get a shout out to Holly. Thank you so much for the raid. I really very much appreciate it. I do apologize for the lateness of my arrival. I was in the kitchen on the other side of the house making a cup of tea. But hi, it's lovely to see y'all and welcome on in. And indeed, hello to Briefcase Full of Bees. How's it going? Thank you very much for the lurk turnip. Much appreciated. Thank you, thank you. Hope you're a lovely lurk. Happy United Quick Coder. Hello and welcome on in. Bizzle, hello, welcome. How are you doing? Lovely to see you. Frankel Rock, welcome in. Hello, hello. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday. Andy, hello, welcome in. How are you doing? Happy United Quick Coder says, Holly wanted us to let you know she needs to run and raid because she has important life stuff. Oh, that is totally fair. I do apologize once again that I was not in the room when the raid happened because I was still getting my tea. I'm so sorry, but hi, hello, and yeah, very wonderful to see you all. Welcome on in. Wispy Song, hello, hello, welcome in, and Sonia, hello. Bizzle says, Holly had to leave, but she left us here with you. Thank you so much. CPL, hello, how are you doing? Lovely to see you as well. Welcome in. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to all of y'all. It's lovely to see you, and welcome on in. Hope you had a wonderful Monday so far. Here's what I've got for today. I guess I should introduce myself for anyone who's new here, as we have had a raid. So some of you, this might be your first time visiting this stream. Hello, my name is Twitch user Sammy Kells. I'm a variety streamer. I do cozy game streams on Mondays and Thursdays. I do cozy, that's cozy art streams on Mondays and Thursdays. I do cozy game streams on Fridays. I know my schedule. Oh my god. Oh, my brain is broken. Anyways, but do primarily traditional art, primarily working in like watercolors and other similar media, inks, gouache, that kind of thing. And I did a little sketch for today because my plans went a little bit pear-shaped, but never mind. I think it'll be a fun time, and I think we might be able to make something cute out of it. CPL wants to know about tea. Well, CPL, I'm drinking a matcha, as you can tell by this extremely brown cup of tea. It is a pumpkin spice matcha. But matcha is an interesting case. If you don't know what the deal is with matcha, it is a Japanese green tea. But unlike most teas, which are, the leaves are infused and then discarded, with matcha, the leaves are ground up into a very, 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 very fine powder and then whisked into a suspension. In this case, oat milk, but traditionally hot water. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I tried to get to the mute button, but I couldn't get there in time. I hope that wasn't too jarring. Anyways, hi. Welcome in, everyone. Sorry for the slightly, very slow and then extremely chaotic beginning, but it's wonderful to see. UK Andy Gamer, thank you for the bless you. Thank you for the bless you as well, CPL. Very much appreciated. And I hope you are indeed well. As well as can be expected, which is okay. I'm gonna actually just make this a little coat that's got, oh, what about those little, it's got one of those little clasps. One of those little clasps that kind of loops, and then it's got a little doodah that fastens it together. Oh, I like those. Those are fun. Okay, it's got one of those little clasps. I don't know how to draw them properly, but I'll figure it out when we get there. The little toggles. I've always wanted one of those, and I've never had one because they've always not fit me properly. But never mind. I can give one to our little gnome husband. And honestly, that's kind of better, because then I get to look at it. I'm going to get another shout out for Holly in the chat because I can, and I feel absolutely terrible that I wasn't here when Holly came into raid. If you're not familiar with the lovely imaginary Holly, here is, if I can spell correctly, another shout out to Holly there. It's always a wonderful time over in Holly's stream, so I highly recommend that you go drop a follow if you have not already. My kitchen light is still on, so I'm going to go switch that off real quick, and I'll be back in just a second. Once again, I am so sorry for the weird start to stream, but it's so lovely to see y'all, and welcome in. And I hope you're having wonderful Mondays. How is everyone doing? Hello. At least I do have my tea with me. That's the most important thing, am I right? Um, and I do. My tea is here. It is, this was the tea that, it's not a very frothy latte today, because, I got one of those little, like, electric one of those little electric, stick blender things, but it's like a little milk whisk, so it's, like, tiny, and I'm not sure if I somehow managed to break it, or the batteries are just wearing down. But it seems like the actual, like, blendy stick bit is ever so slightly on the wonk. So instead of just doing, like, a nice, neat, when it spins, it's kind of like, not quite going fast enough, and it kind of looks like it's wobbling, which is not great, and it doesn't produce any froth, and it doesn't seem to blend as well as just using a spoon. So I've just started using a spoon to whisk in my matchas again, which still produces it produces a dissolved matcha, as best as one can dissolve a matcha, but not a foamy one, which is fine. It tastes the same. It's all good. I don't know if pumpkin spice season technically ended at the end of November, but I've never been that fussy about being super seasonal, except when it comes to, number one, my art content, and number two, within the last year or so, my perfumes. That's about it. I've unfortunately discovered that I like things that smell nice, and it's become an interesting hobby. But I like things that smell nice, but I just want to be clear, as an enthusiast of like perfumes and stuff, I don't like perfumes that other people can smell unless they're like up in my personal space. And if you're up in my personal space, please leave. So it's entirely just for me. But actually, I find as a spicy individual that that just having something nice to smell is actually quite useful for, like, regulating sometimes when I'm in public spaces or I'm trying to get stuff done. I can just kind of hold my wrist up to my face real surreptitiously and be like, sandalwood. Okay, I'm all right. This is a pleasant experience. And it can also kind of block out unpleasant, like, or unwanted, like, public fragrances, like if someone has a sandwich on the bus. So I love that for me. I'm gonna mute just for a second because I feel like I'm about to sneeze. Okay, I do like that my PNG tuber looked like I was talking as I was sneezing, but hopefully you didn't hear that. Anyways, that's me, by the way. The PNG tuber is relatively new. I've only had them for a little over a month now, and it's kind of nice to see myself represented on screen. It's one of the few times that that's possible, so I enjoy that. But yeah, Aoife says my favorite talking painting. Hello, Aoife, how are you doing? It's wonderful to see you. Welcome on in. I hope you're having a good Monday. I'm having I would say a sleepy Monday, but actually I'm not super sleepy. I would say more tired than sleepy. I feel like there's a semantic difference between what tired feels like and what sleepy feels like, and I feel like that might be a very personal distinction as well. Like, I'm not sure it's defined well in the dictionary, but I honestly don't know. Anyways, but yeah, hope everyone had a good weekend as well. What did I get up to since last we spoke? Oh yes. So here in the UK, the weather was real dark and stormy this weekend. Real dark and stormy. So we decided to actually not go out on Saturday. Normally we'd go out and run errands on Saturday, and we did not because it was too dark and stormy. So we stayed home, batten down the hatches, hatting down the batches, and just holed up with, I don't know, whatever we bought the day before to have for dinner. Oh, actually, no. I think we ended up having a packet of soup because we were like, oh, we have lentils at home, right? We can make lentil soup. We did not have lentils. We looked at buying lentils and then decided not to buy lentils last time, so we had no lentils. So I happened to have this like packet of like terrible sort of Knorr instant vegetable soup that I'd bought at some point as an emergency ration, and we had that, and it was a little bit grim, but it was thick and salty. Anyways, with little bits of semi-rehydrated carrots and peas, yay. But that was all right. But on Friday night, we braved the weather on Friday night to go to the annual Christmas market that's held in our city. And it was it had a redesign since the previous year. Some of it was actually a little bit, I would say, grander than it had been. There was like a double-deckered carousel that was like specifically a Christmas carousel, because not only did they have like the horses you could sit on to go round, but they also had like, there was a couple of reindeer on there that you could ride on the carousel. We did not go on the carousel because we're over 40. But it was nice to look at, and certainly going to the market in the evening was really nice because it was all like illuminated and stuff. So we really enjoyed that. And most importantly, there was a vendor selling churros. I find a lot of the Christmas market stuff here in the UK is weirdly, like, very explicitly German. I don't know if like Christmas markets just were enough of not a thing here in the UK for a long time that they just wholesale imported the idea and contents from Germany, not complaining at all. Because that's good stuff. You get mulled wine, and if you eat meats, you get lovely sausages with, you know, curry ketchup or whatever. But the most important thing, and the yearly custom, which has morphed into an annual tradition for my partner and I, are the churros. The very, very traditionally German snack, the churro. For some reason, there's always a vendor selling churros at these things. Specifically the one in our city. And so we got churros with chocolate sauce, and they were very, very nice. So it was very important that we did that. And then we went out for Japanese food for dinner, and I had some pumpkin korokke with spicy, with a spicy sauce and Japanese mayo, and in a steamed bun. It was really good. Anyways, so that's what I got up to. Apart from being kind of under the weather. But, you know, those were the good parts. And I have this really complicated... Okay, so part of the reason that, like, getting this artwork together for today has been kind of difficult was that I have an artwork that I need to be working on right now, but it is a piece that... It is a project that is under wraps because it is a special thing for someone or someones that they are not to know about until I, you know, give it to them. So, I can't do it on stream on the off chance that for some reason they happen to be watching my stream and see, oh, what's this? And then find out that it's like a surprise that I'm making for them, and it's going to be fairly obvious from the subject matter. So I have to be very surreptitious. I have to do it in secret. But I've been really struggling with it because it's logistically quite a challenging piece to do. And if I'm ever able to show it to the world, you'll see why. But so that's where my head's been at art-wise. So I kind of had to plumb the depths of my imagination for like, okay, what's something else that I can work on stream? And I decided that gnome husbands feel very seasonally appropriate because they're just so dang cozy. So we've got some gnome husbands today. Anyways, enough about me. Catching up with chat. Aoife says, I was going to swap completely to my new bank account today, but I got a call from the officials saying they aren't sure if I could even use a German bank to receive my welfare payments. They will need until Friday or possibly Monday to let me... Oh, great. Don't you just love good old efficient bureaucracy? I'm so sorry. That feels like an easily checked thing, to be honest. Actually, I think they didn't find a rule against it, so now they're trying hard to find one just to annoy me. This is my working theory. I honestly don't know, but that sounds plausible. There are these things where it's like, I almost feel like if you have time to, like, let someone know that you're not sure whether or not their bank account is applicable, could you not just take that time and, like, Control F your own, like, guideline paperwork to see whether or not it says anything about that? That feels like it shouldn't take that long to figure out. Either you have a guideline about that or you don't. And if you don't have a guideline about that, I would assume just make a call and it's probably fine. But what do I know? Anyways, so I wish you the very best of luck with that, because that sounds like a real faff and very annoying on their end not to just get it done for you, you know, much more quickly. So, get on with it, office people. You know, on the one hand, I'm sympathetic towards people with bureaucratic type office jobs because I have done the very same, and usually you're faced with being understaffed and having a continuous backlog and not getting paid enough. At least in instances where I've done them. But, Eva says, my brother definitely received unemployment benefits with that same German bank. Okay, well then there's a precedent, so they should be able to know that and figure it out, unless they've had a policy change, in which case they should know that the policy's changed. Jeez Louises. Jeez Louises, my goodness. Alright, so I haven't done a background for this or anything. I wasn't sure if I just wanted to fully improvise it, but actually, so there's going to be some, as you can see, this little guy is holding, a lantern here, which means that I'm going to have to get a little bit creative with the lighting, which means I maybe want to have, I guess, a smidgen of forethought as to what's going on in the background of the piece. Bearing in mind that these gnome husbands are smaller by a reasonable amount than the average human, like, whereas a strawberry is like this to us, a strawberry is like this to them. So, they're pretty small. Or as one might say in German, ganz klein. So, I have to bear that in mind as I'm working on the thing. Also, I've just noticed this guy's ears are very, very lopsided, so I would like to maybe try and fix that a little bit, just a smidge. I'm not sure what happened there, but one of his ears is definitely much smaller than the other. So okay, I have expanded the size of the second ear so that they're more or less the same size. My moderator/spouse is home. Yay! I'm gonna go quickly say hi to my moderator/post. Please enjoy looking at the gnomes while I'm gone for like a couple seconds. Back in a sec. Hi, baby. Hi. I missed you. Okay.
I'm cold, but I'm alright.
I'm glad you're home. Oh my goodness, you are cold. Well, it's warmer in here. I had the heat on a bit earlier, so hopefully that'll help. Welcome home. I love you.
You're something.
Yeah.
Oh, what is it?
What is it? What flavor? What thing? Is it?
So that's just for me. That's just the quiche line.
Okay, yeah, that's got meat in it. But oh, baby! Hell yeah! Thank you. Good news, everybody. My moderator/spouse has brought home one of those tubs of chocolate cornflake clusters from M&S. Yee! I'm excited. I love. They're just such a nice little crunchy treat. So very excited about that. Thank you, Sunshine. That's really nice. Incidentally, oh, that reminds me, new emote reveal. Let me pop the new emote in the chat. We have a new emote. It's very exciting. I'm sure you'll all be thrilled to see our new emote if I can find it. It's just I'm trying to refresh my emotes and make them a little bit better, a little bit more up to date. There are some emotes that we've had for like almost 4 years now, I think. And I feel like I can make better emotes now. So there are a few I'd like to probably swap out and change and add some new ones, that kind of thing. So I've made a new emote of my face because my face has changed. It's literally just my PNG tuber, but in emote form. So I hope you enjoy that. They are teeny tiny, and they're saying hello. Anyways. So that's a stupid thing that there is. I've posted in the chat for anyone who can't see chat. It just looks like my face, which you should be able to see on the screen right now. But yeah, hi. Anyways, I think what I'm going to do for like the backgroundy bit of this piece is just to kind of rough in some trees. I mean, they're in the forest. They, as you can see, this little gnome husband is carrying like a bunch of logs on his back with one of those sort of like he's strapped them onto a little log pack there so he can carry them home so they can have a nice warm fire. Love that for them. and his gnome husband here is holding out a lantern because the nights are very long this time of year, especially in the land of gnomes, and it is quite dark as they make their way home from gathering good wood for their fire. So they need a little bit of illuminary assistance. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was gonna catch up with chat. Sorry. Eva says, honestly, I'm so fed up with my old bag. If they make me keep it for longer, this might actually be a great incentive to getting a job. Oh, beans. Oh, beans. I mean, that's really annoying. I really hope that they're able to sort that out for you very, very quickly. All of these things, the red tape, the bureaucracy, the doodads and banking, it's so complicated. It's so, in many cases, it's so needlessly complicated. I hate it, and I'm sorry. I had a notification to say that my the interest rate for my savings account at my bank is going down next year. Yay! That's exactly what we all need, right? That 5 pounds of interest that you accrue every month is going down. It's so I hate it. It's just so mean. Though technically what they're doing is, rather than having a one savings rate for up to £10,000 in savings, and then a different savings rate for anything over £10,000 in savings that's lower, they're just having the same interest rate across the two. But let's be real, most of us probably don't have £10,000 in savings, so realistically it's just going down. I guess that's an incentive for me to try and accrue over £10,000 in savings. Good luck! Yay! Anyways, that's cheerful stuff. Beans. Okay. I want to get some trees in the background here, but bearing in mind that these little guys are quite little, I feel like the trees are gonna be quite a bit bigger, actually, than the tree trunks I would normally put in the backgrounds of things. Also, there's snow on the ground, so I wanna try and acknowledge that. So yeah, possibly larger tree trunks, but I don't want them to look weird. I don't know if that's gonna look weird, but I also don't want it to look like I don't want it to look, I don't know. We will rough in some tree trunk shapes and see how we feel. Maybe add some additional deets and tails to them as we go, perchance. And honestly, the background's not as important. The background's going to be fairly abstract and quite dark, because it's dark out. So, if it's not completely perfect, that's okay. If it looks a little bit weird, that's okay as well. And absolutely, as you can see by how close these are to the edge of the paper, I did not mean to draw them quite so close to the edge of the paper. I was going to have some ground, but I just started drawing them a little bit too far down and was like, but they look good. I don't want to delete it. I'm just going to change the composition slightly. So we've just altered the composition slightly. It's fine. Don't even worry about it. It's all good. I don't know if that's silly, but here we are. Anyways. What does one have to look forward to this week? Oh, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. What am I doing this week? Painting, obviously. And, more painting, of course. What else? Do I want to actually be able to see some foliage on some of these trees, I wonder? Or is that going to end up looking weird? Maybe ones that are sort of further in the background we can try and get some foliage into. We can certainly give it a go. This one's quite This one's sort of partially obscured, I think, by this one here. I don't even know how visible these little sketchy lines are because I'm doing them quite faintly, but it's literally just lines. I'm gonna take a sip of my my matcha. I have transitioned back into the good oat milk, and oh my god, it's so much better than the other stuff. Like, the other stuff was so bad by comparison. Like, I can't even. The difference between the two is just wild. I'll probably try and pop some other little bits of you know, foresty stuff that you might see kind of poking out here and there amongst the snow. Probably not a lot of it because I don't know how much there would be, but that one's a little too far away. That's probably like that. Okay. Okay. I'm going to mute the microphone for just a moment. BRB. Sorry about that, I'm back. Hi. Okay, so we've got a suggestion of some trees, we've got some illumination sort of coming up ahead of them, and what sort of foliage do I want to just kind of drop into the snow that would be sort of I'm always doing foresty backgrounds slightly differently. I am an indecisive little so-and-so when it comes to knowing how to do things. Try not to create a tangent because I don't want it to look like the... it looks like that if I put a tree trunk right there, it kind of looks like it's coming out of his head. Tangents. Gotta love those tangents. Okay. I'm gonna put this one more like here. Yeah, that's better. That's better, I think. Or maybe, can we even see that from here? Probably not. We'll just go like this, and it's kind of behind the other one. Sorry, I'm being so indecisive with the background here, but, you know. Just want it to look kind of good. A little bit good. The reason that I ended up having to improvise this piece for today is because for anyone who was here last week, or if you weren't here last week, I painted a bunch of, well, I mixed a bunch of new paints, and it's these, and just note, this was the fullest paint pan that we made, and it was like bulging out the top. Like, I was terrified of spilling it as I was stirring it. I had to not use my usual stirring implement and instead get a cocktail stick to stir it, because otherwise it would have just gone everywhere and made a horrible mess because it was so full. It was like out the top, right? And now look at it. It's concave. If that is not just a perfect a perfect demonstration of how much these paints shrink when they dry. These paints shrink so much when they dry. It is wild. Case in point, this one was very full, and now it's just like, it is, I can stick my finger this far into it. But as I stick my fingy into it, I can feel like under the surface, which is kind of sort of has this nice matte dry finish, that there is paint under it that's still wet, and I would rather have it actually be fully dry before I start using it. So I'm holding off on using these paints until they are drier, because there's definitely, I don't know how else to describe it other than if you put a little bit of pressure on the surface of the paint pan, you can feel a little gooshiness under it, especially these two, which are like the most full of them. It's like there is a skin and then there's just wet paint under that, and I don't know what to do about that apart from just wait and let it get drier. and I guess hope that it eventually dries. And if it doesn't, I'm just gonna have to go for it. But in general, I do prefer using dry like watercolor pans to liquid watercolors. So, I would love for them to dry. Anyways, but yeah. Oh, I don't know if anyone saw, but I did a commission recently that I was really happy with, and it was very fun to do, and I wanted to share it here because it was fun, and it looks something like I'm pulling up a link now so you can see what it looks like because it looks like please load. No, is it not gonna load? Oh, come on. No. Just, why did it think I was in my inbox? That was just my Instagram page. Hopefully you can see it now. But this is the piece that I posted recently, and this was a commission for someone who wanted to, and I quote, make the Yuletide gay. So we have a sapphic couple here with their dog and a tree festooned with various pride flags. There is also a little zoom in on the dog in the second slide here, and someone commented to say that the detail here makes it look like the dog is aromantic, and I'm like, why not? Why not? We wholeheartedly support an arrow dog. Good for them. Anyways, that was a really fun piece to do, so I hope that y'all like it. I need to decide what colors I want to use for this piece. I think I know. I think I know what colors I want to use for this piece because it's a set of colors that I've used many times for these two because it just works so well. And I think it works really well as a set of wintry colors as well. So let me grab the palette, assuming that it's easily grabbable. I'm just going to pop over to the the pile of paint section of my studio. I'll be back in a sec. Where are you? Where could you be? What is my paint? The paint I would like to see. Oh, swear words. Where did it go? Where did it go? There it is. Yay! Alright. Found it! Okay, everyone, I got it. Yay! It is this one. This is the 1930s set, I believe, from Choosing Keeping, who make and sell stationery, especially Japanese stationery, and this is such a cozy set to me. But I think especially like this color and there's like the blues and stuff, and then the nice sort of like golden yellow colors for like the light, I think will work really well as a winter scene palette. As you can, I've gotten a reasonable amount of use out of these, but they're still going. I get so terrified of like, oh no, I'm gonna use up my paint, and then like I've done so many paintings with these and I've used up like a tiny corner of them, so what am I so worried about? I don't know. Anyways, so I think I'll use these today because I think they will look nice. Do I want to actually draw in any additional like oh, for heaven's sakes. Never mind. No. Heck. Okay. One moment, please. Bear with. I'm so sorry. We're having one of those experiences. To be fair, I was gonna say we're having one of those days, but to be honest, it kind of feels like it does this every stream. Every stream there comes a point at which Elgato's like, no, you've been going on too long and I'm bored. There we go. Hopefully you should be able to see again. Hopefully the shaky cam won't be too shaky. Alright, we're okay. Anyways, also everyone say hi to Anana. Anana is here very bravely holding our paintbrushes as always. And he is a very good boy. Un beau garçon. Because he is French-Canadian, of course. Which is why his name is Anana. Which is French for pineapple. Because he is a pineapple. Anyways. But yeah. Anywho. I'm trying to be I'm trying to be thoughtful and like mildly adventurous these days with things like messing with light and stuff in paintings, because I never used to do that. Before I started art streaming, I was very I had very excuse me. I had very specific things I liked to paint, and what I liked to paint was characters, and I almost never did backgrounds, and now I almost never don't do backgrounds. It's very unusual, I think, to see me paint something that just has like a white void in the background just do like a character. Um I'm far more interested in doing like scenes and that kind of thing. I think it's fun. But I'm wondering, I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to go ahead with just like getting this started, I guess. And trying to think about what colors I want to use where and all that jazz. Starting with masking fluid. Because I think I'm going to start with getting sort of the background in. Because there's quite large areas. I think it looks nicer when I don't have to worry so much about very precisely, like, going around edges and that kind of thing. Which can kind of sometimes give you weird, like, obvious auras around your figures if you're sort of having to stop and very carefully go around those bits. Which I don't think looks as good, so I'd rather not do that. Oh my goodness. So the solution to that is just to mask out the areas that you don't want to be background colored first. Oh. Oh. Okay. The other thing that I'm thinking of, though, is we've got this lamp light here, which is going to be casting a very, like, golden, candly glow into an otherwise quite sort of deep blue, you know, like just past sunset in the wintertime color. Kind of almost, maybe almost but not quite blue hour situation. And how best to get that effect. Do I want to not paint out the lantern, maybe? So I can do that at the same time as the bits that where the glow is being cast? Perhaps. I'll be honest, I'm not totally sure what I want to do with that. But I definitely want there to be a bit of a glow coming off of it, so, you know. I'll start with these little gnome husbands and then decide what I want to do about the lighty lanty situation. And of course the like contained bits of the lighty lanty are just some kind of, I don't know, like whatever black metal it is that they would have been made of. Whatever that black metal is that iron maybe? I don't know. I'm not a metal expert, okay? I'm very much not a metal expert, as you can tell. I'm not any kind of an expert, really, except maybe, I don't know, I'm getting there with tea and coffee, perhaps. Or at least I've learned a lot about them. Okay. Now our beardy gnome husband. Do note that the G in husband is, of course, silent. That's important. And, okay. Anyways. I don't know. I'll be honest, I kind of woke up with a bit of a case of the Mondays today. And, I'm definitely feeling a lot better than I was earlier, which is nice. Planning to have a yummy miso soup for dinner, so that'll be good. And I'm drinking a pumpkin spice right now, which is also very good. But I was feeling under the weather. In fact, you can probably hear from my voice, I'm still feeling under the weather at the moment. But I was feeling under the weather this weekend as well. And quite poorly last night. So if my energy feels a little bit, I don't know, random, that's probably why. Okay. There we go. Anyways. And also apologies for my sniffies. I cannot help it. I'm trying to keep it to a minimum. but I can't not do it. Also, just shout out to me for the way that they're holding their little hands. I just like the way they're holding their little handies. For safety, of course. I think that's nice. Love that for them. Okay. Alrighty. Oh, the other thing I did today was I looked up to make sure that I actually had a recipe for one of the things that I am fixing to bake for the holidays this year, which is a Hungarian style honey cookie, which we call mézes pogácsa. And I'm looking forward to making the mézes pogácsa, which that means honey cookie. Basically, it's the best translation. I'm not sure what the exact translation would be of pogácsa, but it's a type of like little biscuit type thing. There are savory ones, and this is a sweet variation. That sounds good. Says Bees briefcase. It's so good. It's so good. So it's a little honey cookie. Usually add a little bit of cinnamon and a little lemon zest to season it as well. And as my grandmother used to make them, they are just little. You just form them into little circles, and they're just these little sort of nice round semicircular cookies because they have a nice sort of little dome on top of them and they're flat on the bottom. And what's neat about them is because of the honey in them, something to do, I assume, with the humectant effect of honey as a sweetener specifically, that these cookies, they're nice and soft the day that you make them. The second day, they're like hard as a rock. And once you get sort of 3 or 4 days after baking them is when their texture is perfect. So they are very much an exercise in patience. Actually, an exercise in even more patience than that, because in my experience, the best way to make honey cookie dough is to make I've had the best luck with getting the recipe to be the right consistency by making the dough the day before I plan to bake it and just letting it rest overnight on the kitchen counter, just sort of like loosely covered with a kitchen towel. And that overnight rest period takes it from like, yeah, this is a pretty nice sort of like soft gingerbread to this is the best biscuit in the whole world. Now, obviously, I'm a smidge biased because they are, you know, like my grandmother's recipe and all that jazz, but oh goodness gracious, they are good. I do try and represent, I don't know if this is weird, but when I do my holiday baking, I try and represent my grandma's as best as I can. So I do the Hungarian honey cookies for my grandma on that side because they're my favorite of hers. And my grandma's on my other side. I do icebox cookies, which were her favorite. Now, these were readily available from the supermarket where I grew up in Canada. So she never baked icebox cookies. But we can't get them here in the UK. So I bake them. And I use the recipe from Canadian Living Magazine, and it is just a top-notch recipe. Icebox cookies, extremely simple. It is literally just you make a sort of, it's close to a shortbread dough, but it's a little bit softer, and it's got a little bit more chew to it when it's baked, but it's not far off a shortbread dough. And you mix in, traditionally you would have used like the extremely like bright red, like neon red and green glacé cherries. You can't buy those in the UK because they've probably got loads of colorants in them that are illegal here. So I get the posh looking all natural glacé cherries that just look kind of dark red. And and you mix those through the dough, and then you shape it into like a cylinder. You put it in the fridge to chill, and then you slice it into nice little rounds. Excuse me. And then you cough. And then you slice into rounds and you bake it, and they're so nice. They're a very different cookie to the honey cookies. But they are also very, very nostalgic for me. And then the other thing that I'm definitely going to be baking is jam thumbprints, which is my jam thumbprint recipe. It's in one of my cookbooks. I think it was my first cookbook, which is available in my shop. There's a link to it in the chat. But the jam thumbprint biscuit, it's made with, there's no refined sugars in it, and there's no wheat in it. Unless you want to use plain flour, which you can, but it's made mostly of like almonds and maple syrup. And I like using, the last few years I've been using rye flour in it, and it's really delicious. Buckwheat flour would also work really well. And then they're just made into sort of like vague mounds, and I put a dollop of jam on top of them. And they have a flavor profile that's similar to like a Linzer biscuit, but they're nominally better for you. But they're also just really delicious. I don't care about the health factor. They're biscuits, but it just happens to be like the best recipe, and it's vegan and super easy. So yay! Love a grandma recipe, says Briefcase. Hell yeah, they're the best. They're always the best ones. Whatever your grandma used to make, that's the best iteration of that thing. Like my grandma used to make the best butter tarts, and I will maintain that as the truth forever because it's true. Briefcase says, I always make peanut brittle for my dad because his mom always made it for him. Oh, that's so sweet. That's so lovely. Love a grandma recipe. That is absolutely delightful. Very sweet. And I mean, the brittle is probably also quite sweet. Oh, that's really lovely. Absolutely love that for y'all. Okay. Am I going to start painting? Or am I gonna faff? Whoa. Great question. And the answer is a resounding I don't know. I don't know if the forest needs like if I should put like have more foliagey trees. Maybe I could have some of these trees be a bit more sort of foliagey, but like vaguely. Like this kind of this sort of foliagey situation. Or does that look worse? Nah. I'm not sure I like it. I don't know if I like it. I'm gonna have a think about that because I genuinely am not sure. I would really like to start painting this piece, but I'm just feeling very indecisive about whether or not I want to put. I feel like if it's just a bunch of tree stalks, is that going to look like not a lot? But also, these guys are fairly low to the ground. I can put some like ground level foliage that's a little bit larger than usual, like some big ferns and berries and that kind of thing. Because I'm genuinely not sure. Anyways, but yeah, I don't know why these two just always make me feel very cozy to like draw and paint. They make me happy, which is very normal of me. Anyways, but yeah, I do also really do apologize for my sniffles. It is not. I don't want to be sniffly, but here we are. Maybe we just have these ones in the background. Maybe there's just like, it's like a branch coming off here. We can see a little bit of in the background, like that. Just to give the trees a little bit more sort of, I don't know, character to them. We can see a little bit of maybe some branches and stuff in the background. If I just erase the top of this one and sort of pull some branches out, like so. A little branching off there. And here. And another one there. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, you know what? I like that. I think that's nice. I think that's cute. I think that's doing something. It just feels like there's more complete trees, and I think that's working for me. So maybe if I pop another one of those over here, and this one you probably can't see unless they've got some very low hanging branches, but they probably don't. But I'll just throw. And then move these here. So that one goes this way. That one goes like that maybe. This one goes uppies. There. Okay. We have some slightly more tree-y looking trees back there, which I think is working for me. So that's a good. I think this one's a little bit near enough that we probably won't be able to see any branchies. So that'll do. And they're kind of hiding. They're kind of hiding off in the background behind other trees, which I kind of enjoy. So that's a fun. I think that's a fun way to do it. I do think that's a fun way to do it. So good job me, I suppose. Okay. All right. Yeah, there we go. Okay, fun. We have some branchies. That'll do. I'm gonna take a sip of my tea. And I will shortly drop a little BRB, and then we'll come back and actually paint some stuff. If that's not too controversial. I mean, we've started making art before we were like an hour into stream, which feels a little controversial. But also, I need to fill. Like, there's no paint water in my cuppy, so I'm gonna have to go fill my paint water with my cuppy with paint water. Y'all, I'm tired. Can you tell that I'm tired? I'm a little bit tired. Anyways. But I'll be back very, very shortly. I hope you enjoyed the BRB screen in the meantime. Let me make sure that it's working. Is it working? Can you hear me? Can you see? Okay, yes. But the BRB music isn't playing. Okay, I'm gonna mute myself and then fade that in, and I will be back in a couple minutes. Please have a lovely, lovely break in the meantime, and I shall see you very shortly. Okay, friends, confession time. I still don't know what sugar plums are. Sorry, I was thinking about like seasonal wintry baking stuff. Also, did the song just stop? It seems like our song just stopped. That it's supposed to loop, but apparently it just didn't. Anyways, hi, I'm back. Sorry about that. Oh shoot, I didn't refill the paint water. I'm very intelligent. Anyways, hello, Tals, welcome in. How are you doing? Sorry, I literally BRB'd as soon as you got here. I didn't mean to. But it's wonderful to see you. Welcome on in. Thank you for being present. It's lovely to see you. Hello. How are you doing? But yeah, I was just thinking about like holiday foods and holiday baked goods specifically, and I don't actually know what sugar plums are. I'm gonna muse on that for a second, and I will go fill up my water. I'm so intelligent. Oh my god. Okay, that is better. We have water. There we go. Anyways, but yeah. Now, my knowledge of food history is enough to tell me that plums, in this case, might not actually refer to, like, the plum fruit as we know it, because it had other meanings in olden times than just a plum. But I don't actually know what a sugar plum is. What is a sugar plum? I'm looking it up to see if I can find out what the heck a sugar plum is. Anyways, Tell says, hello, I'm doing sort of Monday, and also don't know what a sugar plum actually is. I'm gonna find out for us what a sugar plum is. The first thing that I see here for sugar plum is... that's just a photo of plums. not helpful. But no, it's basically... Okay, they're basically little sweets. Are they made of fruit? Well, this claims to be traditional sugar plum sweets, so maybe this will be a traditional recipe. I don't know, but I'm looking it up because I need to know. But yeah, plums, like plum pudding, for instance, which is what we call it Christmas pudding now in the UK, but it used to be known as plum pudding, in centuries past. Was actually it was called plum pudding not because it's got plums in it, as in like the specific fruit, but plum was also just used as a word to refer to like a dried fruit. So like raisins and currants, plums in this case, which is super helpful. So sugar plums. Okay, yeah. You basically like sort of chop / smash up dried fruit, toasted nuts, spices, and sugar, and then you roll it into little balls, and then you roll those balls in sugar, and boom, you got yourself sugar plums. I'm gonna be real with you. That sounds nice. That sounds incredibly pleasant, actually. But yeah, that's apparently a traditional recipe for a sugar plum. Is some fruits and nuts. That being said, we might have a different story from Wikipedia, which says that a sugar plum is a type of dragée or hard candy, which these were not. Made into small round or oval shapes. And that they're called sugar plums because they're little, like little plums, like raisins and currants. Which is kind of more like little jelly tots or little like fruit, like traditional fruit jellies. So, okay, the answer is I'm going to have to do a butt ton more research, but I do not have time to make a deep dive video about this before Christmas, so that might be my Christmas video for 2025. Whomst knows. Anyways, sounds tasty, says Talis. Whatever version it is that exists, I'm going to get to the bottom of it, but it may take me 12 months. Because it seems more complicated than I thought. Oh, good. Anyways, that might actually be all of it, though. I don't know. I will attempt to do some research, and I'll get back to you on that. Many distractions. Hello, welcome in. How are you doing? It's wonderful to see you, and welcome. Hello, hello. I've just been torturing myself doing what I thought was going to be a fairly straightforward little reading on what the heck the sugar plum is, and it turns out it's a lot more complicated than that. So hate that for me, but I don't know, maybe someday we'll know. Maybe it just means lots of things. Maybe it doesn't mean anything. Whomst is to say. Anyways, okay, I would like a reasonably large background colory brush. I think would be a good shout for this kind of area. If I can just get it nice and wetted down, softened out, all that jazz. Oh no! Oh no! What is that? Is that airbrush? I think there's airbrush on my palette. Well, let me clean that off real quick. That's okay. That's easily resolved. But yes. I would really like, if I can, this week to finish the YouTube video that I'm working on. I really want to get it done before the end of the year, preferably. I wanted to get it done before the end of November, but wouldn't you know it? Nope. I knew I wasn't going to be able to get much done of it in September, but yeah, now here we are. A mix of not having good light to film, not being good times to film, not wanting to film when I'm not alone in the house because it's embarrassing. Many reasons I haven't been able to finish filming this gosh dang thing, but hopefully I'll be able to do that maybe later this week. Just get some fill-ins done maybe on Friday after my game stream. Okay, where's my little palette card for this? So, I'm gonna need probably a reasonable amount of this color, which is such a good color. This is such a good color. I love it so much. Because that's like the color of Blue Hour, and as you can see from my palette, I've used a reasonable amount of this because it's such a gorgeous color. But yeah, many distractions says, surviving. Turns out, no, our toilet broke due to it being very badly put together. Oh no. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I hope that you're able to get it fixed quickly. That's so stressful. I'm really sorry to hear that. And I hope that it's a reasonably straightforward fix for you. Oh, beans. Oh shoot. Very much hope that it's not too much to get it fixed. I'm going to take a sip of my second tea because obviously I have two teas because having just one tea is rarely enough. And you know the situation is dire when I didn't have it in me to make a secondary cup of tea for stream. You know I'm not feeling very well when I'm like, well, I have a drink. That's usually not good. But this is lemon and ginger, because as you can hear from my throat, I've been needing lemon and ginger a lot lately, with a little bit of honey. And I did manage to get another bag of the good lemon and ginger tea from one of my preferred retailers of tea stuffs on the weekend, so that was great. Okay. So I think I actually do. I want to just do one of these. I think I'm just going to do one of these where I just lightly pre-moisten the canvas. I find that it does help it helps the paint put down nicer. Oh, was there some debris in my paint water, or was there some debris in my brush? I don't know, but I'm pushing some debris around the water. I'm not quite sure what that is. Oh no. I'm sure it's fine. It's all fine. It's probably just some little loose bits of dry paint, but here we are. Don't matter. Anyways. Oh yeah, so I was thinking about plum pudding earlier and that kind of thing because Townsend's, who's a YouTube channel I quite like, published a marathon, like 2.5 hour or maybe even 3 hour sort of compilation video of 18th century Christmas cooking, and I was watching a little bit of it earlier, and it was so cozy. So cozy. How did they roast a goose back then, kind of thing? Not that I even eat goose, but that doesn't matter. I can still learn about how the goose was roast back in the day, because I do find that kind of thing quite interesting. Just learning about. I'm really interested in like everyday history. You know, how did we do normal stuff like a nice dinner way back when? What would have been considered like a special meal by folks a few hundred years ago? No. This is the worst time for it to do this. No, this is a time-sensitive bit of painting I'm doing as well, Camera Hub. What are you doing, you silly ding-dong? Alright. Sorry about this, everyone. Let me pop on the technical difficulty screen. Hello, Elgato Sistels. I'm so sorry. Many distractions says, hopefully having a look, should be having a looking... Plumber having a look at it tomorrow. Well, I hope it all goes well. Very much I do. Hopefully they figure out how to also get the shower to actually produce warm water. Oh, fingers very crossed for that as well. My goodness. Fingers, toes, arms, legs, and indeed eyes crossed. There we go. Okay, we're back. We're back. We're rolling. Okay. Let's do some paints. Okay, this can be a fairly light coating, and then I can figure out where I need more colors. but just to get sort of an initial layer down. I also don't want this to be too dark because I don't want to not be able to see my pencil sketchy in the background. That would be singularly unhelpful, I reckon. Because that gives me that has a lot of very important information for me, oddly enough. But I do apologize that you had to look at the Elgato screen there for a few moments. I don't know, it's died twice this stream, which is very frustrating. Also, hello Sledge, my darling, how are you doing? It is wonderful to see you, and welcome on in. For those who don't know, Twitch user Sledge Collier is my moderator and my spouse. We're married. He's in the other room. I love him. Very much I do. Okay. Now there's gonna be a little sort of halo here where we're feeling a little bit of a glow from the little lighty lantern. So I want to make sure that is that I've baked that into this now. And so that's what I'm doing. Okay. And there we go. Everything's got a bit of a wintry bluish cast, which is just lovely. Absolutely delightful. Well, that's a good start. As for the bit with the lantern, I'm just gonna get all of the gubbins out of my brush, except for some water, because I want to try and I don't want that to be like a super clean line here. I'd like it if I can kind of blend it out a little bit so I can get a nice gradient of glow happening when we get to that stage. I think that will look nicer. Might even just get a bit of my tissue. Where was the tissue I was just using? Did I put it in my pocket? No, it's not in my pocket. Is it in my pocket? No, it's not in my pocket. Is it? No. Oh, shoot. I'm not sure where it's gone. Okay. This one will do. Got it. I'm just actually going to blot out some of this inner circle. Okay, I'm actually going to blot out quite a bit of it, but I do think I want a reasonable radius of glow, actually, so that's all right. I think I brought it in too much before. Cool, okay. Actually, yeah, I reckon that looks okay. Okay, cool. Wizard. I say, actually, I think that looks okay, and then I immediately continue faffing with it. What the heck? Why am I like this? Okay, the other thing that I'm gonna do, which is maybe a little bit weird, is just so I don't forget, like, the tree placement, I don't think I'm gonna add any more color to, like, the background behind the trees. But just in case, I've taken a photo of it in case I lose track of where any of the tree lines were. I should have done that before I put paint on top of it, but, well, I'm stupid, so that wasn't gonna happen. Oh well. I realize I've now painted myself into a corner because I can't do anything else with this right now because it's too wet. So I might need to just create a secondary activity for while that dries, which feels incredibly silly, but here we are. And I did have a thought as to something else that I wanted to, do. Namely, I don't know if anyone in the chat is familiar. I feel like we can get a little bit festive this time of year. It's December the 9th, damn it. I don't know if anyone in the chat is familiar with the Yule lads, who are these like sort of Christmas spirits from Iceland, and they all have some interesting. They've got interesting names and then interesting attributes. And I thought it might be fun to paint them. There's the one that steals your candles. There's the one that steals your sausage, who's known as the sausage swiper. The spoon licker. The window peeper, and my favorite, Stubby. So I thought, what if I just sketch some Yule lads while we wait for this to dry? I feel like that could be fun. Tell says I am familiar via Drawfee. Yep. I flew with Icelandair some years ago, around Christmas time, and they had just a whole bunch of, like, on the airplane, there was a whole bunch of, like, Yule lad related, sort of regalia. It was in, like, the literature, and, on the seatback TVs, there were facts about the different Yule lads, and I think there were just little Yule lads sort of hanging around here and there, like little decals and stuff. It was very silly. What I won't say about Icelandair is that it really, if your flight gets canceled because the weather sucks, you may receive some very confusing emails that are like, here's the details for your British Airways flight to a different location at a different time of day. And you're like, what? What? That's what happened to us the last time we flew with Icelandair. So that was fun. But when it works correctly, oh boy, it's a fun airline. If you're lucky, they give you skyr, which is, it's Icelandic yogurt. It's delicious. And they do also sell it at the airport if you have to do a transfer. And I do appreciate being able to have a yogurt snack on my airplane, because I love a yogurt snack, and it's nice to have when you are in flight. Okay, so I've got a list of the different Yule lads here. So maybe what I'll do is I'm going to randomize a number between there's 13 Yule lads. I'm going to randomize a number between 1 and 13, and that's the one that I'm going to draw first. I'm going to see if I can get them all onto this canvas. I think that would be fun. So they'll be fairly probably like small, quick sketches of weird little guys. But if I roll D13. I realize that a D13 is not a real dice that exists in real life, but roll a die will let you roll whatever you want, so, okay. So let me see if I can get this site up for us. It'll work. Okay. So it's just, when I went to the website, it started with 6, but I'm going to re-roll it again. Okay, number 11. All right. What do I have? That number 11 on this list of the Yule lads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11 is the doorway sniffer. It's doorway sniffing time, everyone. What the? I mean, honestly, like, some of these guys are just like, this is a guy that really likes to eat yogurt. This is a guy that really just wants to eat sauce. Some of them just kind of seem like perverts. You know? Why are you doing sniffing doorways? That's so creepy. I love it. Anyways, here's the description of the doorway sniffer for anyone who's curious. Has an abnormally large nose and an acute sense of smell, which he uses to locate. Oh man, this I cannot read that. It is an Icelandic word that is too small and pixelated in this graphic for me to read. So hold up. Let me see if I can zoom in. And I'm going to struggle to Okay. I do not speak Icelandic, so I apologize to any Icelandic folks in the chat right now. But I will try. So his name in Icelandic is Gautatefer? Gautatefer? How am I doing? I hope okay. And he has an abnormally large nose and an acute sense of smell, which he uses to locate lofa broth, an Icelandic deep fried bread. Ooh. Well, that sounds yummy. I would also like to find Icelandic deep fried bread. That sounds so good. Okay. First of all, I'm going to get this paper off of the block. And then we will try to do the doorway sniffer justice. And I think once we've sketched the doorway sniffer, we should have time to get back to our little gnomes. Our little gnome husbands who don't do anything creepy like sniffing doorways or peeping in windows or stealing your like sheep fleece. They're just nice little men who live in the forest and try to be friends to all of the creatures in the enchanted forest, and like going on picnics and having dates and snuggling each other in the night times to keep warm and because they love each other, you know, all that good stuff. The doorways. Okay, so what we know about this guy is that he's got an unusually large nose, which is fine, and also that he likes to sniff at doorways. So I'm gonna have to get like a doorway in a little bit for context. So, but we'll deal with that after I've actually drawn in the guy. So, I think I'm gonna lead with the nose. I feel like that's a good start. Is that a good starter nose? I hope that's a good starter nose. I feel like I hope that that's a good starter nose. And to balance it out, obviously, he needs to have quite little eyes. Just so you really grasp the enormity of this nose. And he's gonna have a little smile. And he's gonna have little. Should I give him little sort of like pointed ears? That feels quite cute for these sorts of little guy characters. So I'm gonna give him little pointed ears like that. And then there we go. He's got a little face. Do I want to give him I'm gonna give him a beard. Because I feel like at least some of these little guys are going to want beards. I'm going to give this little guy a little beard. Okay. These guys are so weird. I love them so much. Yeah, actually the beard should probably come on more like that. And he's happy because he reckons that he smells delicious fried bread. And you know what? If I was smelling fried bread, I'd be pretty happy about it too. So, I get it. I feel it. Good for you, little buddy. There we go. Okay. He's got a giant nose. What shall I do about his sort of hair hat situation? Do I want to give him a little hat, or does he just sort of have kind of messy hair? You know, I'm gonna give him a little sort of cozy little knit hat. Because why not? He seems like the kind of guy who would want to keep warm and cozy. If he's standing outside at your doorway on a cold winter's night, he's gonna want to keep nice and warm. Okay, so here's gonna put here's a little door handle, I guess. How shall I draw that? Here's the door handle, and here just underneath is the bit with like the keyhole. And he is just really trying to get those wafts out of the keyhole here. Like an absolute little freak. I think maybe he's got his hand pressed up against the door and he's like, oh, I think I smell deep fried bread in there. Oh, that's real good. What a creepy little guy. I love him, but also wow, dude, this is not this is slightly weird behavior. You know that, right? Um, this is the doorway sniffer, and he is. I hope he's getting some delicious aromas from this doorway here, um, and that it is just absolutely delicious and delightful beyond his wildest dreams. I don't know. Um, some panels on the door there. There we go. We have ourselves a little doorway sniffer. What a weirdo. Just having a lovely time trying to get the aromas out of the door. Um, I kind of love him. I kind of love him. He's real creepy, but maybe someone will invite him in and he can have some delicious, delicious fried bread. Deep fried bread does sound good, says Tals, but there are boundaries. I know. Like, don't get me wrong. This little guy is an absolute little pervert. Just standing at the doorway and smelling for bread. What the hell is that? That's creepy. But, anyways, there are worse things you could be than a doorway sniffer. I think the guy who peeks into your windows is creepier. That is just like straight up 100% pervert behavior. But yes. Anywho, I wish I had deep. There's a Hungarian deep fried bread actually called langos that is it is just top notch good stuff. Absolutely 100% delightful. I'm a big fan certainly. Haven't had it in a very long time because I'm not really comfortable deep frying things at home. Um, but it's like in Hungary it's like a street food type thing. You get langos and you can get, like all kinds of different things on it, garlic and cheese and at this point probably whatever you want. Probably like Nutella. You can probably get Nutella on it. I don't know. But it is a popular, you'll see like street food stalls and stuff with it because it's people love fried food. Fried food's wonderful. I wish that fried food agreed with my tummy more because, oh, biddle boy, does my tum-tum not like it. I'm having miso soup for dinner tonight because I feel like it's the least likely to aggravate my digestive system. Right? I'm having a lot of, like, tummy problems. Not to get into, like, details on you here, but I've been having a lot of, like, tummy ache issues and heartburny things over the last couple of weeks. Which is really annoying and honestly quite stressful, leading right up to, like, the season where people expect you to eat a lot. I have declined an invitation to, like, a Christmas lunch, partly because the first course is riddled with allergens for me, so I wouldn't be able to eat it anyways, and I felt kind of bad about that. But also, like, in hindsight, it's actually probably good that I'm not going out for a 3-course meal, because I will feel incredibly unwell. I went out for a meal on Friday night, but I had like 1.5 steamed buns with a little like pumpkin croquette inside and like a half to 2/3 of a salad. And that was enough, and it didn't make me feel bad. And I was genuinely really scared that I was gonna not feel well eating that much. But it was fine. And also, it was real yummy. It was so tasty. I was very happy. I don't get to have steamed buns very often, but oh, it's nice. And also, again, deep fried foods. If you've never had a pumpkin korokke, it is a beloved food of mine. It is literally some, it is like Japanese pumpkin that has been seasoned and made into sort of a patty shape, breaded with panko, and then deep fried. It's delightful. Gazillion out of 10 do recommend the pumpkin korokke. Very, very good. Tal says, hope that gets better soon. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you. Anyways, I think I'm gonna add a little more color to sort of the shaded forest floor here, which is dusted with snow, but I'll just add another sort of layer of couleur over top. Oh shoot! No, I'm not. I didn't want to put color there. Oh no, I completely forgot what I was doing with the lantern. No! Can I get rid of that? Thankfully, yes. Oh, heck. Sometimes I just get confused and I forget what I'm doing with what bits, and then I paint in the wrong bits and it gets all bad. Can I just erase that section? Yes, I can. Oh, good. Okay. So, we don't want to add any there. We want to kind of come up underneath and around here-ish. And then we can kind of we can blend out from there. That's fine. But I totally beefed that for a second there. Sorry, everybody. La. No biggie, though. It's all good. Okay. This bit on that side of the tree is fine. There's a tree that is here, and there's a tree that's up here. And then there's just some landscape. Okay. Wizard. I think I'm just about getting there and figuring out what I'm meant to be doing. Oh no. Confusing myself. Heck. Okay. I will try and blend that out again. Where is tree? There's a tree here, so there's a gap here where there is no tree. Thus, just a little bit here, and then just fill in a little bit under their feet. Okay. Okay, wizard. We are making some progress. Is the progress good? I don't know yet. I think so. I think it'll be cute. I do think it'll be cute. I want to once again blend this out a little smidge. Thus, for the bits where the lantern is casting a little bit of a glow. Cool. Right. I think I'm not gonna have to wait as long to do like a tree, like to do the tree trunks. Following on from that, but I wonder, do I want to do another Yule Lad while I wait for that to dry down before I do the tree trunk, so the tree trunk doesn't bleed into the forest floor. It's not quite as wet as before, so it shouldn't take too long to dry, but we still could conceivably do another Yule Lad, and I just think it's fun. So yeah, what the hey, I will do that. Let's go back to this and grab another number. We can at least start one. Number 1. Okay, who is our first Yule Lad? Because each one is corresponds with like a day of the sort of 2 weeks ahead of Christmas. And they will bring you, if you leave your shoes out, they will bring you treats each night. You will get a little treat. Oh, it's the sheepcoat Claude. He harasses sheep, but is impaired by his stiff peg legs. Oh boy! Wow, okay. Oh no, so we have sheep harassment guy. This feels bad. Why is he harassing the sheep? I don't know how I feel about this, but oh dear. The poor little sheepies. Maybe I'm just gonna do, okay, I'm gonna try and make this drawing smaller. I also have no indication of what this guy might look like from the description. It doesn't really tell me anything about what he would look like, so I'm just gonna have to come up with something. Sheep also have boundaries, says Tulls. Yes, exactly. Honestly. So we've got a guy with peg legs. So I'm just gonna draw a little guy. And I'm gonna make this drawing a little bit smaller. And he is, as you can see by his angry eyebrows, but the fact that he's got a little smile, he is a terrible little so-and-so. Actually, you know what I think would be funnier? I'm just gonna give him, like, an incredibly outsized mustache. He's just got an incredibly outsized mustache, I think. This little guy. Haha. And what am I going to do about his hair? He's just going to, I think he's just going to be wearing a little cap, so you can't really see much of his hair underneath. Oh, you know what? I'm putting a little bell on the end of his hat, so when he comes round to the where the sheep live, in the middle of the night, he's got a little bell on, and it wakes up the sheep, and the sheep are angry because they were trying to sleep. They'd finished counting themselves for the night, and they had gone to sleep, and he's rocking up like, I'm a little fucker, and I'm gonna ruin your day by giving you a bad night's sleep. Oh no. What an absolute little menace. Absolute little menace. Wow, I hate this guy because I love sheep. Therefore, this guy is an enemy. Whenever I hear angry eyes, all I can think of is Mr. Potato Head. So many distractions. Oh my god. I think I had a Mr. Potato Head all the way back in, like, the 80s. And he's wearing a nice long winter coat. Doot. Ooh, maybe it's a sheepskin coat. Even better. The sheep would hate that. They're like, hey, give that back, says the sheep. Here is a sheep. Here is a sheep who is angry at this Yule lad. Because they were trying to get some rest. Let's just get a real expression of anger happening here. And this guy's just like, yeah. There we go. Okay, here is the sheep goat Claude being an absolute miserable little so-and-so harassing the sheep, and the sheep are none too pleased about it. These are terrible. I promise I'm not a bad artist. I don't know that you can tell, but I swear it. Anyways. Okay. Alright, I think I want to just actually deepen some of the blues, give us a little bit more of a contrast here and there. Ooh, that's maybe a little bit too much of a contrast here and there. But can I just bring that down and fade it out a little bit? Just get a nice little fade out. Okay. There we go. All right. And I'm gonna clean my brushy so I can kind of just get a nice little bit of a fade on it again. Cool. Okay. All right, wizard. Every time I say I'm done, I just keep faffing. Why am I like this? Anyways, then he starts says, "Give that back." Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They're like, "Hey, that's mine." No, give it back. There we go. That's a good sheep voice. I did it. Yay. Okay. Clean, clean, clean. Blend, blend, blend. Okay. There we go. Okay, yay. Right. Wizard, we did it. We've made a smidgen of progress on this. I'm sorry, this is I'm not even sure I'm gonna paint this in. It's so stupid. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll paste. I'll try and do all 13 of them and then like post it as a goof or something before Crazeman. I think that would be fun. Anyways, if I'd had the forethought, I would have done that back in November and made it into like a greetings card or something for Christmas. Maybe next year. Anyways, thank you for the claps, everyone. Much appreciated. Yes. Well. Mm-hmm. Can confirm my beverage is stone cold. But man, this oat milk is so much better. It is wild to me how large the selection of plant-based milks has gotten over the last few years. And don't get me wrong, I wholeheartedly support this, but also, damn, there are so many. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, it is really hard to figure out which barista edition oat milk to get. I've just been buying the same barista edition oat milk since forever because I happen to find it delicious. But if I was starting from scratch at this point, I don't know what I'd do. But yeah. Is that stupid? Is that silly? I don't know. I'm honestly, I am grateful for the variety of plant milks that are available now because oh boy, like 10 years ago, it was worse. It was definitely worse. Before oat milk came onto the scene, I feel like oat milk has had a real like rise in popularity. I don't actually know if plant-based milks are still on the rise in popularity or people kind of like, regular milk is fine as well. I know that oat milk, or not oat milk specifically, but plant-based milks in certain places have had to face off against like the dairy marketing boards lobbying like governments and stuff to be like they shouldn't be allowed to call it milk because consumers will get confused that an oat-based product is the same thing as milk and buy that instead of milk, thinking that they're buying. I'm like I don't know if we can really allege that people are that stupid. But whomst knows? Not I, certainly. But anyways, I gotta figure out what color I want my tree trunks to be. I'm thinking, I don't want them to be too vibrant of any sort of color, so I might actually blend this kurocha with a little bit of kawagane, or possibly take the kawagane and blend it with a little bit of kurocha, to kind of just make like a dark trunk hue, because it is that this time of day where things are getting a little bit sort of dark, and the colors I feel like are not going to be as stand out and bright as they would be if it were earlier in the day. So to that end, I probably will. I'm just going to mix up a combo of brown and dark blue until I feel like it looks good, I guess, question mark. Because, yeah, I think the brown in and of itself is too warm. But I don't want the trunks to just be blue, I don't think. I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like if I had like the if I had the resource of like a digital artist where I could just sort of drag things around on a color wheel until I felt like it looked good, I'd love to do that, because I've certainly had situations before where I've painted something in and been like, oh no, this has gone horribly wrong and bad, because I was trying to do something a little bit sort of stylized, and it just didn't translate. Um, you know, would rather that doesn't happen, if at all possible. But here we are. Okay, how's this for a color? Ooh, yeah, I can't tell whether this color is brown or blue, and to be honest, I think that's perfect. I think that's exactly what we want from it. So, happy with that. I don't think I'm gonna want a lot of, like, surface detail on the trees. I think I'm gonna just want to kind of paint them in and have them just be kind of silhouetted and dark, because I feel like at this stage they're going to be a little bit more sparing in detail, just because it's getting dark. It's dark enough that the little guys need a lantern, so I think we can get away with the trees just kind of being a little bit, well, you can see that they're trees, and that'll do. There's one. Yay. Okay. Yeah, actually, I think that's the right call. Happy with that. Cool. And I hope that what the trees look like ends up looking good. I think I am going to add some ground foliage as well, in addition to the trees, just to make the forest feel a little less barren, a little bit more full. Obviously, there are some things that are going to be kind of covered up this time of year, kind of not the most active because it's a little cold out. But certainly, at least, still a few things that we can see happening here and there, and that will hopefully be good. Okie dokie. Oh, I am really sorry for the sniffies. I am trying to keep it to a minimum, but they just keep happening. Blah. Anyways. Okay. Kind of had an idea for a sticker sheet that I want to do. So I might give that a go at some point. I don't know. I'm thinking once again about sort of like nautical themed things, because I like, for someone who lives in a landlocked county, I sure think about nautical themed stuff a lot. I want to do some maybe some boats and lighthouses and all that jazz. I really need to go be near an ocean at some point. I experience that longing every once in a while of, I just need to be near a very large body of water, and I rarely get to, so I saw some canals when I was in Denmark. I flew over a body of water. I could see it from an airplane. But I don't ever go to like the seaside or anything really, because it's not mega my bag. Like beaches and that kind of thing are not really my thing. I don't like spending time out in the sun. But thankfully I do live in a country where I feel like you do have options if you are not specifically down with being in a hot and sunny clime whilst trying to enjoy large bodies of water. I feel like you still have options here, which is, nice. I guess. Anyways. Okay. My pencil lines are a little bit hard to see in places here, so I'm kind of having to guesstimate as to where I put the various branches. But I think I did okay here. I think I did all right. I think I maybe made a bit of a mess of it, but never mind. Good enough. Sometimes good enough. Did you see any sunfish? Asks Many Distractions. No, I did not see any sunfish. Unfortunately, I think the sunfish are in very different oceanic regions to the space between the UK and Denmark. I did see boats. I did see super tiny boats from up above. That was fun. Oh yes, and also exclamation mark egg in the chat. Did you know that a sunfish can release up to 300 million eggs when it spawns? 300 million eggs! That's a lot of eggs! Or did I see geese? Honk. Honk! Thank you for the exclamation mark. Honks, y'all. Much appreciated. No, I don't think I saw any geese either. I saw mermaids. I saw mermaids when we got back to, like, land. But I didn't see any geese that I can think of. I did visit, the last time I visited my in-laws in Leicestershire, I saw geese. That was exciting. Casa says, I hope your day improved after 8:30 a.m. It did eventually, kind of. Thank you, Casa. Also, hello, welcome in. It's lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome. I hope you're having a beautiful Monday. As always, my day has improved by streaming, because I love getting to hang out with y'all. So that is very much an improvement. But yeah, I had not the greatest Monday morning this morning. But it has improved a little bit, so that's a good, I hope. I'm gonna drop another super quick BRB in just a second. But before I do, nope, my train of thought is completely gone. My train of thought has sped out of the station and left without me, because we are civilized people, says Casa. Hell yeah. Well, maybe you are. I don't know about me. I try my best to be polite, at the very least. But, my moderator / spouse just looked at me and went, yeah, thanks, babe. But yeah, I'm gonna drop a super quick BRB. I will be back very, very shortly. I hope you enjoyed the BRB screen in the meantime. Yeah, back in a second. Thanks for sticking around. Please enjoy the BRB screen in the meantime. Hopefully the music is playing. Yeah, it is. Okay, BRB. And we're back, everybody. Hello. Welcome back. Hope that break was pleasant and okay. Here we are. Yay, we made it. Okay, so I'm gonna continue on with these tree trunks, and then once I've got these tree trunks down, I'm gonna have a think about foliage. But while I'm thinking about foliage, perhaps I'll draw another one of those silly little you lads. That seems like a good, effective use of my time, and also super fun. Now again, I've got this little radius that I want to kind of fade into, and I will do the same with this tree trunk, as it's not super far away, and I feel like it's going to get blown out by the brightness of this lantern in front of it. Also, hello Samantha, welcome on in. Hello, hello, how are you doing? It is lovely to see you. Welcome on in. You made it in time for stream. Yay! We love to see it. Truly we do. Okay. Okay, right now this is looking like a very weird looking tree trunk. But let me just clean some of that out of the brush. And just carefully letting a little bit of a fade happen here. Hopefully it looks okay. Samantha, this is the worst thing. The worst part about having a currently full-time office job is missing out on Sam's streams. Oh, Samantha. Surely the worst part about having a currently full-time office job is having to have an office job. Actually, no. I hope that your office job is good. I hope that your employment is pleasant and that it fulfills you in some way, as I do with all work. This is work that fulfills me. I mean, I would say that this is the kind of work that's rewarding in the way that, like, I don't really get paid very much for it, but I enjoy myself. So I guess that's kind of the payoff question mark. They do. It fulfills me in the way that every 4 weeks they put money in my bank account. You know what? That does feel real good. I feel that. I get that. 100%. For sure, for sure. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay. That was an interesting tree trunk to do because it's a little bit weird, but I dig it. Yes. Anywho. Let's finish these trees. I'm not going to be able to peel off the masking fluid today, probably. Because I don't want to, I don't want it to tear. And as we know, sometimes if you are overzealous in your need to peel the masking fluid as quickly as possible, your peelies makes the paper tear because the paint around it was wet and the paper was therefore not as strong as it could have been, which makes for a bit of a messy painting situation and can lead to some less nice bits of your painting. And I think we would rather not do that. Or at least I would certainly rather not do that, so I'm going to try to not. Okie dokie. I'm gonna actually flip this upside down because there's just way too much of a chance otherwise that I might accidentally drop the meaty part of my palm into a bit of painting. And I would love to not do that, ideally. I feel like that's not the best way to get a painting to look real good, strangely enough. Okay. How does that look if I turn it right side up? Ooh! I should paint all of my trees upside down. That looks great. Maybe that's my new strategy. Just paint all of my trees upside down. Okay, you know what? I've got one more tree here. I'm going to paint it upside down. What the hey? There's a lot I can't quite see very well about this tree, which is just wonderful. I think it does kind of butt up against this one, but it's a little bit darker because it's not being hit by the light quite so much. It's just kind of on the edge of that and a little bit further away. So I cannot see where my branch lines are very well at all here. Oh my goodness. Where are you? Okay, I can see there's one branching up this way. So I think I might just kind of do it that way. Where do I see that there are branch lines? And just kind of try and follow them as best as I can. There we go. It just kind of comes up like that and almost blends into that one there. Neat! We have Some funky looking little trees. Maybe a little more like that. Okay, alright. We have trees. The trees are fine. Fun fact, Australian trees are easier for Sammy to paint. Yes, because of course everything in Australia is upside down. That makes total sense. Ha! Okay. We have our trees. Feeling good about that. Still, I think I'm gonna need to do some vague line weight for the trees, because right now this whole thing is feeling very, I don't know, creepy? It doesn't look good yet. I think it'll look good when it's done, but it doesn't look good right now. uh, sorry. I want to think about what's some foliage that they might be able to see sort of on the forest floor that hasn't been fully covered by like snow and stuff. But I also don't know. Because I honestly didn't plan this out very well. Tell you what, why don't we let these trees dry for a minute while I think about what other sort of little bits of foliage we might want to add in. Or even just like some texture. And we'll do another Yule lad. Let me grab my list of the Yule lads, because the Yule lads do exist in a specific order because they come on successive days leading up to Christmas. A shrubbery, says Samantha. Ah, jeez. Ah, jeez. Okay, I'm gonna pop up our random number. I'm gonna roll a number, and it's number 2. Okay, we've done number 1, and now we're doing number 2. Number 2 is... Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. So number 2 is Gilyagor, or Gullygawk. He hides in gullies, waiting for an opportunity to sneak into the cowshed and steal milk. Okay. Okay, so, what... Okay, first of all, what does a gully look like? And, I'm gonna have to look up what a gully looks like. I assume that it's near I assume that it's like a feature that's near cow sheds. Yeah, it's a landform created by running water. Okay, yeah, I thought it was some kind of like ditch type thing. So it's kind of, he's hiding in a ditch to wait for an opportune moment to go steal milk. Okay. Samantha says a shrubbery, and then another shrubbery on a slightly different level with a little path running down the middle. Nice. Honestly, that does sound quite nice. And Talis just says, "Nee!" I understood those references. Thank you for those references. Okay. So we're gonna draw a little guy who's hiding in a ditch. And he wants to steal milk. Okay, so I think, how am I gonna do this guy? Okay, so I'm gonna have to rough in the idea of like, there's some land up here, there's some land here, and then there's like a ditch in between, and here's our little guy, and again, I think I'm gonna need to give him like the most. He wants to steal milk. Who is this guy, Margaret Thatcher? I feel like that I prefer this guy to Margaret Thatcher, because I mean, if you leave your shoes out on the second night in the 2 weeks leading up to Christmas, he'll put a little treat in them. So at least there's that. And I don't think you would get that from Thatcher, so right. This guy's just he's just happy to be here. He's just hanging out in his ditch. He's just hanging out in his ditch, as you do. This is extremely normal behavior. Actually, I think I might give him a little milk pail so that he can sneakily steal milk with it. I'm going to give him also a little hat, because I think it's quite cute giving them little hattos. There we go. He's got sort of a pointy little hatto, and he's maybe just got a little bit of hair sticking out there. A little bit of hair sticking out here. Oh, isn't he just... Oh man, this guy's terrible. Hey Ernesto, how's it going? Lovely to see you. Welcome on in. We're drawing Yule lads. This guy hides in gullies and then waits for an opportune moment to sneak into the cowshed and steal a bucket of milk, as you do. Samantha says, if you leave your shoes out on the second night leading up to Christmas, Margaret Thatcher comes along and gives you a poll tax. Ugh. That's the magic of Christmas. This guy just chilling. He's just chilling. Doo-doo-doo. Here's his little handies. And he's just sitting like this. He's just sitting like this. In his little ditch, waiting for a moment to go steal some milk. What a little creep. What a little creep he is. Here's the little bucket he uses to steal. Here's his little milk pail that he uses to steal, which is very creepy of him. And he is indeed sitting in a ditch. Waiting to steal milk. So we've drawn three of the 13 Yule lads now. This is the Gollygawk, who wants to steal your milk. Is he okay? I'm not sure he's okay. Anyways. I might clean these up and do some actual, like, official Yule lad art that's a little bit less, terrible, but for now, it is what it is. I don't know. Anyways. Right. Okay, I think I want to add some additional foliage to this. Many Distraction says, he's fine, he has milk. Yeah, he'll be alright. He's got, you know what? He's got plenty of energy, lots of good lean protein, some fats of various levels of healthiness, and also he's probably got really strong bones and teeth. And also vitamin D to help survive the winter without getting too low energy and crappy feeling. I don't know. Okay. Right. Excuse me. Well, now I know what gullies look like. They look like this, according to Wikipedia. So, he's in one of those, I guess. Waiting to steal your milk. I love these little guys. They're such a bunch of weirdos. It's great. It's fantastic. Just a really good time, I think. But yes, anywho. Okay, I mixed up this darker color, but actually I'm not sure I want to use it. I think, well, maybe there, here and there are sort of some plants emerging despite the cold. Like this little buddy here, and maybe, you know, there's one back here, but it's further away, so it's not quite as big. Like so. Yeah, these are cute. These are cute. Are they a little bit dark? I think they might be a little dark. Do I want to water it down a smidge? If it dries down that dark, I might give it a little bit of a, maybe I should I blot? Should I blot? They feel a little bit too dark compared to the trees. The cold weather is no match for their planty resilience. Well, never mind, you can't see them now, so oh well. Well, I tried to blot out a bit of the color and I just basically erased it, so oops. This is the third time today that it has decided to just cark it. Come on, little buddy. Let's try again. Moment. Sorry about that. The camera has a -5 tech issues resistance. It really does. Like, damn. It does not want to stay. It does not want to stay on. It's like it gets like 45 minutes in. It's like, I'm out. I need a break. I'm tired. And you know what? I relate, but you know, I persist because I love this stream and you, and I want to provide a nice environment for streamy goodness. Okay. I've hopefully watered down this paint a smidgen. And we can get a slightly more subtle result. I hope. There we go. It's still kind of dark, but I can tell that it's quite watery, so hopefully it will lighten as it dries down. I think it shall. We'll see. If it sucks, I'll fix it in post. We'll pretend this never happened, okay? Heck. Okay. Do I want to pop one sort of emerging from hiding way up here? Yeah, I think I do. There we go. Okay. Okay. It's just giving things a little bit of character. I think it's nice to have a little bit of character. Oh my goodness. Megan, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome on in. Hope you're having a lovely day. Thank you. Very much appreciated. And welcome on in. Hope you're having a good one. Okay. There we go. Pop another one up there. Maybe we can just see there's one sort of poking in from the edge of the frame here, just in front of this tree. Like so. Okay, so we've got some nice little bits. We've got a couple of, I don't want to overburden it with little bits. Megan says, hi, hello. Hope you're having a lovely Monday. How are you doing? Welcome in. I don't want to overburden the background with bits either. Oh, I think I will apply some line weight to the trees. Should I do that? Should I do that now? Maybe I'll do that now. What the hey? I'm just gonna use this brush because I think this is probably a good brush. Just so you know, I can't hear very well, having nothing to do with the stream. It's just the environment I'm in right now. Oh, beans. Oh, beans. Well, I hope that resolves for you. But to be honest, you're probably not missing very much. But it's lovely to see you anyways. Thanks for hanging out. Ernesto's doing good. Glad to hear it. I am very glad to hear it, in fact. I think I mentioned earlier, I was certainly having a bit of a case of the Mondays earlier, but that's more or less resolved into just a case of the day. It's just a day. As you do, which is fine. Looking forward to having some miso soup for my tea. I've been working on, one of the projects that I've been working on off stream, has been hand sewing an 18th century shirt And I am just about finished setting in the first sleeve, and I'm very excited about that. Because it's kind of getting the like side seams sewn up, and then getting the sleeves set in, really starting to feel like it's an actual garment now, whereas before it was just kind of fabric pieces, you know what I mean? This is a really good stage where you kind of really starting to feel like it's nearly complete. There's quite a few bits left to do, but it feels a lot more complete at this stage, which is a very positive feeling. I think that this paint is a little too watered down now, so I'm gonna try and unwater it a little bit. Oh my goodness gracious. So if I can pick up some blue, pick up some brown, mix them together in my little puddle, and then I'll try this here, see how it looks. Ah, yeah, that's more like it. I like that having blended the brown and the dark brown and the dark blue together, it's kind of granulating a little bit, which I think is giving a really nice effect. Quite fond of that. I don't want this line weight to necessarily be super obvious. I don't want it to pull focus away from the foreground of the piece, but I do just want it to give us a little bit of definition on these trees and their sort of relations to each other. Just because I felt like it was feeling a little incomplete not having some kind of thing to that effect, I suppose. So I'm glad I added it. Basically. I'm gonna skip the one in front that's being very well lit for the moment, because that's a slightly more complicated case, and I want to make sure that I am able to give it some slightly more bespoke attention, I suppose. Which I will in just a moment. But first, these ones. Am I making it look worse? I'm not sure. I hope not.
Attention.
Oh my
Twitch
goodness
user
gracious.
Sammy Couch.
Silly!
Shoppers.
Hello everyone. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the raid. Hello Silly. How was your stream? What'd you get up to today? It's lovely to see y'all. Welcome in. Welcome Indigo. Welcome Silly. Welcome Splash. Hello everybody and welcome on in. Let me get a shout out for Silly in the chat. It's so good to see you. Welcome in. How was your stream? What'd you do? Sorry for the bombardment of questions, but I'm very curious. Anyways, there's a shout out for Silly, who, if you are not following, go do that. Go drop him a follow right now. There's a link in the chat. Highly recommended. Wonderful person. Very, very fun. Very cool. And hi, welcome in. For anybody who's new here, allow me to introduce myself. Hello. My name is Twitch user Sammy Kelch. I'm a variety streamer. I do cozy art streams on Mondays and Thursdays, and I do cozy game streams on Fridays and every once in a while on a Sunday as well, but pretty rarely these days. But today we're working on just a nice little wintertime piece of our little gnome husbands just making their way home in the woods in the evening after gathering some firewood. He's got his little log pack on his backpack. And he's got a little lighty lantern to light the way. And they're having a wonderful time. I'm having a wonderful time painting it. We've also been sketching out some concept sketches for Yule lads, who are these little Icelandic folkloric creatures who come around Christmas time. And they all have some very interesting, mischievous character traits. And they're very fun. I was playing through Elden Ring's new Game Plus 3 mode. Ooh, got pretty far from the start to near end game. Oh my goodness, that is very cool. Very cool. I'm glad you enjoyed the Elden. I've still never played Elden Ring or like anything like it. And I kind of want to try, but they also intimidate the heck out of me, and I feel like anyone who can do that is a very good video game player and also extremely brave. And I love both of those things for you. So, like, hell yeah. Silly says, oh yes, I'm familiar with the 13 Silly guys. Hell yeah. Well, let me tell you, this is the door sniffer. We've done the door sniffer so far today. who has an abnormally outsized nose for sniffing at doorways to see if he can smell whether or not they're making deep fried bread. We have the sheepcoat Claude, who is an absolute menace who terrorizes the local sheep population, and they are none too pleased about it. And then we have the what's this the gully guy, who hides in gullies, and then when no one's looking, sneaks into the cowshed and steals your milk. So that's what we've sketched out so far. They're so. It's not good artwork, but you know what? I'm having fun. Anyways. Samantha says Elden Ring looks like the least terrible Soulsborne game to me. It looks like so much fun. It looks very intimidating, but it does look like a really, really good time. And I hear that like the DLC and stuff is also really, really good. So Lisa's big recommend. Elden Ring is definitely the most beginner friendly one of them. I think you'll enjoy it. Oh, thank you. My favorite part is the world building, not the fighty bits. Oh yes, there's also a lot of like super cool like lore and friends and stuff that you meet. That is so cool. Well, I'm glad to hear that you had a good time. Hell yeah, the best Souls like I guess of course Hollow Knight, says Samantha. I mean, I'm definitely not biased in that direction at all, but I mean, yeah. But I would like to. Will I ever play Elden Ring? I don't know. I might just watch my friends play it. Because I guarantee that Silly will be better at it than I would. But yeah, there is another shout out for Silly. If you want to go give him a follow, you can go do that right there. And thank you again for the raid. I really appreciate it. Anyways, but yeah. Also, I know that you weren't doing an art stream, but I also know that you do art. So if there's anything you want to share in that respect, feel you can pay an art tax if you'd like. You can whisper a link in my direction. I'd be very happy to share. But anyways, I've probably watched over a day of Elden Ring lore, says Silly. Oh my goodness. I'm not surprised that there's that much. It is quite what is the word I'm looking for? It feels like a very well established world. Thank you for the shout out, Cecilia. We'll go lurk mode for a little bit. We'll be back soon. Oh, have a wonderful, wonderful lurk, and thank you so much again for the raid. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And yeah, for anyone who's new here and wants to know what my artwork looks like when it's done, let me find you a good representative example of something that I posted recently. Oh man, my feed is ridiculous. Okay, here we go. This is Terry, whom you may remember from this stream. Terry is a Forg. Terry is a mage. Terry is a very good boy. He's just a sweet little guy, and he is in his little magic reading nook in his little cozy cottage, having a nice cup of tea and reading one of his books and having a good time. Anyways, yeah, Silly says Elden Ring was co-written by George R. R. Martin, after all, who, as you may know, is a writer. I wonder, what do the RRs stand for in George R. R. Martin? George, Rorge, Martin. I hope that's what it stands for. Samantha says, one bit of Elden Ring lore that I know, the world of Elden Ring does not contain Chapel Road and is therefore inferior to this world. I'm gonna drop a confession here. I am such a not being aware, not out of any like deliberate choice, but I'm just rarely aware of what's going on in the pop music world. I don't think I've actually listened to / heard an entire Chapel Roan song from beginning to end. I think she's neat. I don't really know her music. But you know what? Good for her. Anyways. In the annual, like, here's what music you listened to retrospective statistic fest that we all get in December if we use a certain music listening app. My top most listened to artist was Capcom Sound Team. And it was Capcom Sound Team, I can tell you very specifically, for the first 3 Mega Man soundtracks. And it's not that I listen to, actually, that's my most listened to artist for 2 years running, is Capcom's sound team for the 3 first Mega Man soundtracks. And it's not like I don't listen to a wide variety of other things. You know, there's all kinds of artists I listened to this past year, from ranging from like artists I know locally who put out new releases, to you know, like Baroque music, to just all kinds of stuff. And yet my most listened apparently is the first 3 Mega Man soundtracks. What the heck? I think possibly because sometimes when it's like the end of the day and I'm tired, I will just throw on my like Mega Man songs playlist. Because the bleepy bloopy music make brain go brr, brr, and it's just it hits good. The music is very sapphic, says Samantha. Yes, I know she's very gay and I love that. Like just unabashedly gay as fuck. Again, I love that. I love to see that. I love to see artists doing that, getting popular. It feels very good. But yeah, Melania is close enough, right? Says Indigo. I know that Melania is a boss that's real hard. I think that's about all I know, but that's really cool. Silly says, I don't know much about Chapel Roan except for a couple songs, but I'm pretty sure she's not actually a chapel. She's not. She's not. She's, as far as I can tell, she's a person. But she does seem pretty great. Anyways, need to hear Melania sing Hot to Go before I pass a judgment. I do know parts of that song because I heard it on Instagram. Anyways, I think I'm trying to think like what's my most listened like new-ish artist that people would have actually potentially heard of outside of very independent sort of micro scenes, and I honestly don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to have a little look-see, because I honestly have no idea. But then sometimes I'll think that an artist is, like, they must be very popular, and then it turns out that, like, no one's heard of them. I was listening to a lot of, like, classic, like, 90s Canadian rock music this year, apparently. I rediscovered listening to Sloan, if you've heard of Sloan. Who are still doing stuff, but am I just listening to the Sloan that I remember from the mid-90s? Yep. Listen, if you've ever heard/seen the video for Money City Maniacs, you know, it's delightful. Hot to Go is a great song. I know the middle part of it, where they spell out the words. And I was like, wait, what's hot to go? What's hot to go? I don't know. And I was like, oh, that's not all one word. Okay. That was a moment for me. I wish I was joking. I'm very intelligent. Anyways. Right. My favorite Chapel lyric is, I heard you like magic, I got a wand. Oh my word. That is, yep. I love that. That's delightful. That's delightful and very gay. I love it. Good. Good. Good for her. Melania is more of corpse after corpse, left in my wake kind of girl. Well, you know what? Some girls are into that kind of girl. So, you know, I'm sure there are many. I'm sure there's a special someone out there for her who would be like, yeah, I would like you to just straight up, I don't know, based on the way that, like, some ladies talk about, like, strong ladies they fancy. They're basically like, oh man, I would just let her murder me in cold blood. I tend to be more to prefer a more snuggly partner. Some girls is me, says Indigo. Hell yeah. I tend to be more of the, I want a partner I can snuggle kind of vibe, personally. But hey, you do you. I mean, if you've ever seen my moderator slash spouse, you will know that they are a majestic bear of a person. War crimes and murder are bad unless they are committed by an attractive sapphic woman. You know what? I mean, don't get me wrong. I get it. I totally get it. Sometimes that lady be such a beautiful, big, strong lady that you just want to see them get to do crimes. That's so valid. That is so valid. That is like 1,000,000% valid. Okay. Just making sure we have kind of an idea of, hey, there is an area where the ground ends and the tree begins, and we're just gonna make sure that you can see where that demarcation is. So I feel like that's a little bit. Ooh, yes. Okay, we've got a whisper from Silly. Hell yeah. Okay. Splash says snuggling is important. You're quite right, Slash. I wholeheartedly agree. A snuggle is good. Thank you for the wispy, Silly. I appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. Oh, okay. And let me just. Okay, I'm just queuing it up. Oh my god, that's so cool. All right. So explanation here. This is Bedman? Question mark. From the Guilty Gear games. Sweet. Okay, let's take a little look-see. Oh my god, this is so cool. Check it out. This is super cool. It's fan art I did for a game I love, says Silly. And hell yeah, that is rad as heck. I love that it's called Bedman because he is a bed. That is truly incredible. I love it. It's a guy but a bed. That's so cool. Does this mean that Mr. Sammy is a tall, cuddly Winnie the Pooh type person? Certainly some kind of bear adjacent, mostly because he's got a lovely soft beard, I guess, but yeah. Oh my goodness, this is so good. Okay. I love that it's a bed. But it's a bed with like limbs and stuff. I know nothing of this game, but this is an awesome piece of artwork, and there's a lot. Oh, the line art looks so cool. Hey, Sunshine. Okay, so my moderator slash spouse has just said that the Winnie the Pooh analogy is apt because he says also I never wear pants. Yep. How did I forget? Anyways, that is a beautiful piece of artwork. Thank you so much for sharing, Silly. I love it. That is awesome. Thank you. Oh yeah. Cass has said, does this mean that Mr. Sammy is a Winnie the Pooh type person, preferably with trousers on? Well, apparently not. Oh, goodness gracious. Anyways, I mean, we do get very sleepy in the wintertime. And we like to eat foods like berries and salmon and honey. So, yeah, that's pretty bear-like, I think. So there you go. Anyways. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing that art, Silly. That was rad as heck. No, I'll just ask the question because I don't know any of the lore of this game. Do I want to befriend Bedman? Because I feel like I do. But I don't know whether or not I should. I guess that's the best way to put it. Anyways. Okay. I've watered this down a bit so I can get some slightly less loud snowbanky texture here beneath this little tree. But it's still quite illuminated. Okay, cool. Samantha says, has Twitch user Sledge Callie ever gotten stuck in a tree while stealing honey? If he has, he hasn't admitted it to me. And I haven't asked because that's personal. I think you do, but it's also up to you, so Silly. He's usually an annoyingly smart guy who's rude. But I think he has a character development arc. Okay, you know what? I think I like him. I think I do. I think yes. I think yes, definitely. Like 11 out of 10 would befriend. I like a befriendable creature. I do. And this person is a bed. So how cool is that? And he's got a character arc. Love that for him. All right. Realizing this is just a little bit too dark for me. So I'm just going to try and just fade it out just a smidge if I can. And this one. Literally by just dropping a tiny bit of water on top and doing a little blot. And if this is a horrible mistake and it makes it look all bad, it does kind of actually, but no, I think that's fine. I think it works. Is this painting going to be any good? I don't know. It wasn't very planned. I did not plan this very much. But you know, hey, that's fine. I'm now debating whether or not I should make the sky in the background darker than the ground. I feel like I maybe should. And I didn't. Heck. Shoot. Okay. Do I do it? Do I just do it? It's a bit late to do it. But I could just do that. I kind of want this to have a slightly darker feel, like the whole sort of atmosphere of the piece as a whole. So I could conceivably just darken that backdrop a smidge. His real name is Romeo, and he has a sister called Delilah. They named him after Freddie Mercury's cats because the creator of the series loves Queen. Oh, that's rad! That's really cute. That is such a cute little Easter egg. I love that. I love that very much. Aww. Okay. Is this a mistake? Doesn't matter because we're doing it anyways. How about we do it anyway? I don't know why. I just feel like the very light colored background just feels just feels too light. It makes it feel like it's not really that dark out. And I think I want it to feel a little darker out, so just adding this extra sort of layer. We're going to go upside down again. We're painting some Australian night sky, I suppose, going by the logic of earlier on. But I think I prefer this, actually. I think I am going to prefer this to otherwise. So I think I'm happy with this decision. I think this is one of those paintings that's going to look real scruffy right up until it's like nearly finished. And that's okay. Sometimes paintings are just like that. It's a very, I do just want to say, it is a real, like, exercise in vulnerability, doing this kind of thing with a live audience. Because you're not always sure how something is going to go, and it might go not the way you'd planned. You might decide to change things up the last minute. And sometimes it's hard to know how things are going to go. Sometimes, you know, you're like, oh, this painting looks really bad. And now everyone saw how bad it was. Oh no. It's, yeah. Which, as someone who is, you know, oftentimes feels a little, I don't always have maximum amounts of confidence about my artwork for, I want to blame the algorithmic reasons, but, you know, honestly, it might just be a skill issue. I don't know. Maybe people just don't like my art. Anyways, the Sammy Kell Show is filmed before a live studio audience, says Samantha. It is! Silius's main character is called Frederick Bulsara, suspiciously close to Freddie Mercury's name. You don't say! You don't say! I feel like I'm sensing a theme here. I feel like I'm definitely sensing a theme here. That is delightful though. It's nice being able to sort of throw tributes to things you love into the things you make. I feel that for sure. Speaking of things you make, I don't know if anyone caught, but a few weeks ago on Blue Sky I was talking about there was like a script submission window, like an open submission thing, and I was gonna submit something, and then I decided to not. And the reason that I decided to not is that they were like, okay, so the script that you send in to like get accepted to like the sort of workshop program, it's run by the BBC. You're not actually going to be workshopping that script. You're going to be starting a new one from scratch. And I decided not to send it in because I was like, I don't know, it just makes me feel sad thinking that, you know, it's especially because the one idea that I have the most developed at the moment is something that I would really like to see develop into something. And so to kind of effectively almost waste it on an opportunity where it's just going to get read by like, you know, like 6 people who then decide whether or not I'm allowed to write something else. And I don't actually get to use that for anything or like make anything out of it. I'm just like, no. Blah. Cassis says, I blame the algorithm because you don't always show up for me and I follow you. And then qualifies with on Insta and Blue Sky, not around Oxford. I mean, to be fair, if you did follow me around Oxford, you would get so bored. You know, do you ever see, like, YouTubers who will make, like, a day in my life videos? And it's like, okay, I'm getting up this morning, and I'm going to an art market, yay! And then I'm gonna have a coffee in this incredibly aesthetic cafe, and then I'm gonna be meeting up with some friends for lunch, and then I'm gonna be visiting the most picturesque area of town, and I'm gonna have, like, some nice ice cream down by the river, and, like, the coolest place in the city, and then I'm gonna meet up with some more friends for dinner, and then I'm gonna go see a light show, and it's like, This is not a representative day of any person's life. And if it is, then, I don't know, F you, man. Because if I were to make a day in my life video, it would be like, I spent the whole day in pajamas doing work on my laptop. And then maybe I painted something for a couple of hours. And then I went to bed. Cassis says I might discover new places for tea. I mean, this is also very possible, following me around. But it depends on the day, because most days I'm just in my house in my pajamas, doing work on my laptop, then maybe doing a bit of art, eating dinner, watching some videos, and then going to bed. Silly says, by the way, the art is wonderful. I'm in the live studio audience, and I'm clapping. Oh, thank you for the claps. I appreciate it. The director is pissed at me because the clap sign isn't lit. Oh my god, that would be me if I were in the live studio audience of a TV show. I would just be laughing at, like, laughing disproportionately at jokes that people just find mildly amusing, and then, like, clapping at the wrong times, and just being generally, like, an unintentional nuisance, I'm sure. I mean, there are a lot of picturesque parts of Oxford to visit. Yeah, I know this. I visited some on the weekend. But I don't do it very often. There's a bridge where you have to sigh when you walk under it under penalty of banishment or something. I didn't actually realize you had to do that. Don't tell the city council. I don't want to have to leave. Or if I do leave, please let it be because there's a nice house I can afford in another city. Anyways. Silly says, a day in my life, but I cut out the boring parts. I wake up a bit too late and have to rush. Cut, I go to bed. Yep, honestly, that's basically me. That's my life. Anyways, Well, now that I've painted the sky this color, I feel like I have to do a second pass on the trees, because now the trees don't look dark enough. What a mess. That I do think that the sky looks better with this color than it did before. I think it makes more sense. I think it's more cohesive. I just think it works better. The whole thing will look better when these guys are painted in, because it looks real weird with them being the only things not painted in. But anyways, Samantha says, "Oh my gosh, Sammy, have you been going under without paying the Psy tax, you rebel?" To be fair, I rarely walk under the Bridge of Sighs, which is a very well known sort of architectural spot in Oxford, because it's not. It doesn't bridge like a street that's between places that I regularly have to visit. So to be honest, I'm not actually around there very often. So yeah. If I'm in that part of town, I'm usually over at the I'm usually getting a coffee somewhere. Anyways, okay, it's trying to run ads, so I think I have to finish for tonight before it's allowed to do that, because I don't want you guys to have to sit through another ad break, and I've got to go make dinner. So I'm gonna call it for today. Just after I check in with chat again. Sigh, tax evasion, says Silly. I'm so sorry. I think taxes are important, and I hope that they're allocated in good ways. I don't know what they pay for size with, but I hope it's essential public services that need more funding. I definitely don't have recent rants about that. Anyways, Samantha says, I used to work at Queen's College, and that little back road is the quickest way between the main bit of town and there. Oh yeah, I mean, that makes sense. So I used to go under it most days. And did you sigh? I certainly hope so, because we've learned things about that. I'm not looking forward to doing mine, says Indigo. No, I know. This is the worstest. Okay. No, I know. No, I don't want to hear my own voice. That's horrifying. Sorry, I had a momentary echo there. I'm gonna take a little look-see and see who's online. Who can we do a little raid on? Ooh, you know who we haven't raided in a while? Let me just double check and make sure that they're not just about to finish, because that would be really embarrassing. First I'm going to have a little bit of a cough, as you do. Plap, what are you up to? Are you just finishing? Please don't just be finishing. I don't think they're just about to finish. Ooh, they're doing some really, really cute artwork with Poscas, though. So let's go raid Grays, because they're great. And you should like them. There's a lot of cute bunny stuff happening over there. And I'm going to get a generic raid message in the chat. Of course I sighed, says Samantha. Good, the college would have me discommunicated if they found out I didn't. Oh, of course, absolutely. I understand. Okay. I'm going to pop the gnome husbands in this generic raid message, because obviously that's who we've been painting. If you have the emotes, feel free to grab the raid call with the emotes. If you don't have the emotes, you can just say generic raid message. I am hurrying to leave because I don't want you to get bounced into another ad break, and it's about to happen. So thank you so much for hanging out. It's lovely. It's been lovely to hang out with y'all. Silly says, I used to think Oxford was a college, but I suppose there's a city too. There is a whole city, but the university is the largest employer in the city. So there you go. Anyways, I'm gonna head. I'll be back on Thursday. I don't know what I'm painting yet. Maybe finishing this and possibly starting something else. We'll see. But you've been lovely to hang out with. You're all breathtaking. It's been lovely to see you. Have a wonderful rest of your everything. And thanks, y'all. It's been very nice. And goodbye, good night, and good luck.